Hey bestie, it's Shannon, and I'm back again with another ASMR video. So today, let's talk about A Court of Thorns and Roses. ACOTAR is one of the first fantasy books I really got into, and I'm gonna summarize it for you so that you're ready for the upcoming releases by the time they come out. Okay, starting in book one, a lot happens. So our girl Farah, she's living in a village. She's with her dad and two sisters, and they kind of live in poverty. Like her dad used to be a merchant, he used to kind of have it all, and now they have nothing. So the way they live is that Farah, she's a young adult, she does the hunting and she sells the furs, and they eat the meat, and the little money from the pelts is how they buy other things. They all are like in the bed together. It's a really sad situation. So she goes out to hunt, and she gets this big wolf with an ash arrow, sells his belt. She comes back home, her and her family are having dinner. Next thing you know, this huge monster bursts through the door and is like, "You're coming with me, a life for a life." Turns out the big wolf she killed was actually a fae, and this person here is a fae who's like the animal that's yelling at them. She ends up going to this place called the Spring Court. It's a place that's permanently suspended in the season of spring. There's a lot of flowers blooming, pollen in the air, things like that. And at first glance, it seems like a paradise to Farah from what she's used to. There's a big house that she's made to stay in. She goes to eat with the guy who turned into a wolf and took her from her home. She finds out that his name is Tamlin, and he has a friend, his right hand, if you will, named Lucian. She stays closer to Lucian because I think she views him as a safer option, and I don't blame her from what I know about the both of them now. So days pass, she's doing archery, and decides, I don't want to do that. I did that for survival for so long. I want to paint. So she gets stuff to paint, and she starts painting all kinds of things. She ends up kind of becoming friends with Lucian as time goes on, and she's with him, and they encounter some pretty interesting things that she knows nothing about. When she asks questions, they get avoided. There's something that she learns about called the light that's coming through, and it's ruining the Fae world. But she can't really figure much else out. It is worth noting that Tamlin and Lucian both have masks on, and they can't take them off. Anyways, as time goes on, she starts to really kind of wonder more, and she meets with something called a surreal that Lucian told her what to do to attract, so she did, and she's like, "What the heck, where am I?" So, as she talks to the surreal, she finds out that this guy who's been basically keeping her captive is the High Lord of Spring Court, and she finds out that she should stay with the High Lord. So she's like, "I should stay with Tamlin no matter what." Anyway, so Helen Mai comes up. This is after, her and Tamlin start to fall in love, and he's been playing the fiddle and all that. She escapes out of the house after she's been told to, stay inside. And she starts getting bombarded by these females everywhere, trying to trap her. Out of the woods comes the most beautiful male I've ever seen. As she said, it's a dark-haired guy, and we later find out his name is Rhysand. So, he takes her back, he saves her from those guys, basically tells her to stay out of trouble, and, this is Feyre, so she's not listening to any of that. So she tries to sneak out again, and she meets Tamlin inside of the house before she can even do anything else. And they have a steamy encounter where they're basically making out. Nothing more comes of it. She goes back to her room. Well, fast forward to when they're all in the dining room together. And it might not be the dining room. I don't know what room it was, but they were all together. Lucian and Tamlin, and Rhys shows up and he's like, what's her name? And, they're like, whose name? Because they're hiding her with their magic. They're basically clamoring to make it look like she's not there, but it's Rhys, so he can see her, and he's like, and she gives the fake name, Claire Better, which is someone in her village, unfortunately. But after that close call, because, Rhys worked for Amarantha, Tamlin's like, okay, you need to go home. So, even though she loves him and he loves her, she agrees to leave Tamlin and go home. They spend one night in bed together, and they finally, get to know each other biblically. But, after that, she goes back to her dad's, and, she still misses him. She misses Tamlin, and doesn't stay there long. She ends up sneaking back into the Supreme Court, and she finds it's demolished, basically, and no one that she needs is there, and Tamlin is gone. Turns out he went under the mountain, and there's a whole hellish place under there. It's called the Court of Nightmares. So, Amarantha's there, and she basically tells Feyre, hey, you have 3 challenges to pass and a riddle. So, the first challenge is a worm. She beats this huge worm and wins, but then she hurts her arm. And then Rhys comes into her cell, and he makes a deal with her to save her, and through that deal they can talk to each other in their minds. So after that first one, she then does the second trial, which is the levers, and the problem is she can't read what the levers say. She almost kills Lucian. Rhys has to tell her which lever to pick in her mind so that she can keep going. And the last challenge is to kill Innocence, which she did unfortunately end up doing and crying through it. And then it turns out the answer to the riddle is love. But by the time she stabbed Tamlin in the heart, because his heart was stone, he didn't die, and she says that it's love. Amarantha is so frustrated, she doesn't care, and she starts to kill her because she was never supposed to win. She was never supposed to figure anything out. So as Amarantha's killing her, Tamlin goes and kills Amarantha finally, and the High Lords gather around Feyre as she's dying and each give her a little drop of their power so she can live on. Because she saved them. She saved their world by doing these tasks and distracting Amarantha. And she broke all this plague and curse that was over their land and all the courts. So that's what happens in the Court of Thorns and Roses. I love this book so much. It really got me into a whole different niche of life. Like, and now I'm an avid fantasy reader. If you haven't read this, I recommend you do. But odds are you have read it and you're getting ready for Sarah's new books. So I'll be doing the whole series. Just stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe, do the things. At the very end of the book, Reese stares at Feyre and she ends up going back to the Supreme Court. Okay? The second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, will be up very, very soon. I hope you had a happy ASMR.